Hi, this is Rob Anspach, and I'm with Kelli Calabrese, and today we're going to talk about physical and financial pain. We're going to talk about moms and dads, and we're going to talk about employment in your home, being a solo entrepreneur, being a business person. So welcome, Kelli, and thank you for taking the time to stop on by.
My pleasure, Rob. Happy to do it. Thrilled to be here.
So you're in Texas, I'm in Pennsylvania, and it's getting a little warm here. It's warming up, and but it's probably pretty warm there.
It is. Actually, it is. It's rare for us to get rain in Dallas. We don't have a whole lot, but today is going to be one of those days where we're going to get a little bit, and that's okay because things are greening up. It was about 80 over the weekend. Beautiful. We love it. I've lived in Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey, and I appreciate the winters in Dallas.
Yeah, I appreciate the winters in Dallas too, especially when it's not like this in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
What when we actually spoke off camera, and we talked about moms and dads and being stay-at-home entrepreneurs. Why is that such a big thing? Why do you feel in your heart that's where you want to focus?
Well, for me, I love to work. I always have. Came from a very hardworking family. It was in my blood. It was my spirit to be working. And I got to do a lot of fun things. I owned and operated health clubs. I managed corporate fitness centers and did a whole bunch of things. And then I got pregnant. And I just thought I was going to pop back to work like the next day. I was just going to be right back in the office. And I stayed home for about a week, and then I thought, well, I'll just drop them off at daycare and go back to work. This is what I know. And something inside me said, you can't do that. That's not going to be the right way. So I was pregnant pretty quickly with my daughter. They're 14 months apart. So I said, all right, you're going to figure something else out. And all I knew was to be outside of the home working. That's what I did. I got up early in the morning. I was gone till late at night, and I loved it. But then these two little babies came along, and I sat my partner down and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but can you buy me out? And thankfully he did. And so I went home, and I felt like a piece of my soul was ripped out of me. And I had these two little babies and I wasn't sure what to do with. I mean, that I was not one of those ones who grew up and said, I can't wait to have babies. That wasn't me. I love to work. And so I got home and I started to figure it out. I started to do some writing and teaching and consulting and editing and spokesperson work and media work, and just kind of fumbled my way through it, figuring it out. And before I knew it, my income at home was better than what it was when I was, getting up and going downtown. And to have the freedom and the flexibility to be at home with my kids was priceless. So they might just be in the other room with a babysitter for a few hours a day, but the fact that I can go out and have lunch with them and hold them, and if they had something going on, I could be there, that was just the greatest measure to me of freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, is to be able to do that. And I want to train my kids. I want to disciple my kids. I want to have that connection with them. I don't want to be the mom who, gets up, puts on a suit, drops the kid at daycare, commutes downtown for an hour, sits in a cubicle, hopes for a 2% raise at the end of the year, drives home, and my kid gets the worst of me because I'm stressed out. And so I just wanted that connection and that training to come from me. And I saw that in my family. I mean, my parents were very hard workers, but my mom did it in the pockets of her life around her children. She helped out in my dad's business. So I did have a good example. But, when I decided to really have a platform for this, that week, someone in our town, a young girl in my daughter's class, tried to commit suicide. And when you look at the statistics, I don't think anyone would argue that. It's horrifying. Teenage pregnancy, teenage dropout, kids on anti-anxiety medicine. I mean, just all of these different things that you didn't see a couple of decades ago, and now it's a lot more usual for both parents to be outside the home working because we have this supersized society where we need more of everything. And so we have two parents outside because we've created so much debt, trying to get ahead faster. So, it just was really laid on my heart that I need to show moms and dads that there can be another way outside of the traditional job that people go to.
You touched base on suicide, and on a previous interview I did, we talked about cyberbullying, and these devices that we have that link us to social platforms, which we didn't have years ago, are proliferating cyberbullying. And the parents don't know because they're not monitoring what their kids are doing, and until it's too late. And that having that freedom to be at home, to work, to see what our kids are doing, to ask them questions, I think to me is goes beyond financial freedom.
It does. There's so many benefits to the kids. I mean, my kids have now seen me home their whole lives. They're 14 and 15. So they've seen mom give presentations. They see mom, develop personally and professionally. We have cool people who come to visit our home, and, they get to meet them and interact and see what they do. And they get to be a part of it. In fact, my son could probably jump in and my daughter and take over and do a call for me at any time. Some days they're like, Mom, how many times are you going to tell your story? Like, they know it. But they also see the rewards. And there's time where I say, all right, guys, mom's going to be working hard for the next, month to reach this goal. But at the end of that month, what do you guys want to do? What do you want to do? You want to go snowboarding? You want to go to New York? You want to go to the islands? And so we do it as a family. We make these kinds of decisions, and they're a part of it. And I reward them for helping out with my business. And they love that because then they set goals. And so they're modeling what I do. We create vision boards as a family. So they see all these different pieces of business, and that becomes a part of their actions and their habits because that's what they see us doing.
My kids, I spent 20 years owning a carpet cleaning business in a small town in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, most known for the Amish. Mm-hmm. And, I developed a living. I ended up learning my own marketing and getting the phones to ring, and I jacked my prices up so that they were 30 or 40% higher than my competitors. And I was doing well, but the passion was waning, and I knew that I could do other things. And people were coming to me and they're saying, hey, design our marketing, write this, do that. And so that's how my coaching took off. And then I started writing books. But, now my kids are coming to me who they never wanted to have a part in the carpet cleaning company. Now they're seeing that we're traveling and we're doing this and we're doing that. And they're like, I want to be a part of that. I want to see the world like you are, Dad. And so, now I'm teaching them how to, write effectively and how to do marketing and their eyes are opening up. And it's incredible because my older kids didn't get to see this, but my younger kids are like, Dad, this is just incredible. How are you working from home? How are you making all this money? And my neighbors are like, what do you work? Do you do anything? I always see you outside or doing this or don't you have a job anymore? It's funny because I have the freedom now to do what I want.
Yeah, that's true. People don't realize there's another way. A lot of it is generational. It's, dad was a cop, grandpa was a cop, and that's what they do. And they kind of get into this track, but it does not have to be that way. You can find your passion, find your purpose, do what you love, and then create something around what your giftings are. And you can find a way. I mean, if you're in your purpose, you'll have the energy and excitement for it to create something and make something happen. You'll find a need and a demand for some product or service, and you'll find a way. I mean, it does take effort. It's not easy. There's work that's part of it, but the payoffs are amazing, absolutely amazing to have the freedom. I mean, I want to wake up every morning and go, okay, God, here I am. What am I supposed to do today? Here's my cell phone. Here's my car keys. Here's my keyboard. Who am I supposed to connect with? To wake up and have that kind of freedom and flexibility just makes it so much fun instead of, all right, it's a drag. I've got meetings. It's never that way. You get to wake up every day and say, all right, I can give myself a raise today. Let's see what the next phone call is going to bring. And, there's always risk, but the rewards are great. And when you have peace and belief about what you're doing, it finds a way of working itself out.
Over the summer, I took my kids and I took my parents down to Florida, down to Disney World. And what was really nice is I took my laptop and I took my cell phone, and every morning I would wake up early, open my laptop, get my stuff done, and then we would go to the Disney parks and we would have fun. And the world was just, our oyster. That week we were down there, and my mom and dad were like looking at me going, how do you make money working 2 hours in the morning and that's it? But throughout the trip, I was getting people depositing money in my PayPal account, doing this and doing that, and it's like, I don't have to worry. I can, and that right there, I think is the shift in mentality over the last 10 years, 15 years, that, you don't have to have a building to go to work. You don't have to, have assets or cars or trucks that allow you to go out and clean someone's carpet. You don't need all these other tools. You need your brain. And people aren't using it as much as they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, from anywhere in the world, if I've got this device, I'm in business. I can do business from anywhere. And that's the beauty of it, that we're not tied down to a cubicle or an office. And you talked about schedule, and your habits have so much impact on your success. So like you said, you wake up every morning and the first thing you do is tend to your business. For me, I wake up and the first thing I do is I look at I have some quiet time, but then I look at my reports and I praise my team. Sometimes it takes 20, 30 minutes, just recognizing people, calling them out, congratulating them. And then I'm going to have some personal development time every morning where I'm going to read something, whether it's a devotional or just something that I'm reading for the day that's going to be empowering and inspirational. And then I work with clients for a couple hours because I want to feed other people and I want to help them, knowing that I did that. And then I spend the afternoon working on growing my business. And then once the kids are done with school, it's all about family time, play time. I mean, they're at the age where they're going to be driving soon. And so I want, every piece of being connected to them that I can at this point. And then nighttime is, for my husband, and I'll come back in my office and I'll organize my day for the next day. But when you create the habits and you're responsible, anyone can do this. I mean, you can't just quit your job. We're not suggesting, go out and quit your job and just sit home and, the money will show up in the mail and in your PayPal account. It doesn't happen that way. But you get to a level where it does. And find a model that works. Find a system that works. Duplicate it. Or, put your own spin on it based on your own talents and ideas. But go out there, find someone who's doing it, and then do it well. Find a book, find a resource, and you don't need to reinvent things, but you do need to put the investment in. It doesn't happen magically, but it can happen. I've seen it for hundreds of thousands of people, and they wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, I couldn't imagine having to call a boss to ask for an afternoon off to take a neighbor to the doctor or to, go see my daughter's horse show. I mean, just having that freedom is priceless.
Now, you talked about turning it off, kind of, we're tied to these devices, but when to say no. Now it's family time or it's your husband time, and then you get back into it for a little bit in the evening to schedule. I think that's the hardest part for some people. They don't know how to turn it off. They don't know how to say, now is my family time. And everything becomes a blur. Did you automatically do that, or did you have to come to a point in your life saying, I have to turn it off?
Yeah, I've spent 30 years studying personal development and, time management or life ownership, whatever you want to call it. And what I have found is it definitely is most excellent to plan out your day ahead of time as best possible so that this is the hours I'm going to work on developing my business. This is the hours I'll work with my team. This will be family time. And stick to that, as closely as possible so that by the end of the day, by the end of the week, by the end of the quarter, you feel like you've accomplished what you set out to do and hopefully more. But multitasking does not work. When you're with your family and then you're going, hold on, Mommy, just got to grab a call. Hold on, Mommy. That doesn't work. That doesn't work for them. It doesn't work for you. There's guilt. But if you can just shut the phone off or ignore it for that period of time, you'll be much better off when you go back to sit down. So I do multi-mode, but I don't multitask. So multi-moding is when I'm going to answer emails, I answer all the emails. If I'm going to write bills, I write all the bills. So stopping and starting is so inefficient. So when you start something, see it through to completion, because it takes too much resource, brain power, time to have to pick back up where you left something off. So unless it's really urgent and so important that it's going to make that big of a difference, stick to what you designed for those moments to be. Your kids will love you more. You'll feel better about it. You won't have the guilt. And then there's nothing that's so urgent that you can't get back to it a few hours later or even the next day. So really be in the moment, be present, be 100% fully committed to whatever it is you're doing, and you'll be better at it. You're not going to have a good connection with your kids if you're always looking at your phone. And you know what? They're going to do what you do, not what you say. And when you go to talk to them, they're going to be staring at their devices and you're going to be mad.
Yeah, we just had dinner time the other night, and everybody had these out. I mean, and I was doing it. The kids were doing it. My wife was doing it. And it was like, why are we even sitting here? I mean, so, we try to put these away now because we don't enjoy the meal if that's all we're doing is texting everybody else.
Right. And people they don't realize it. It just becomes a habit. So you do need to set rules for yourself and for your children. Otherwise, it's out of control. And your kids are looking for boundaries. They really are. They would much rather be connecting with a human, with you, than they would be to looking at another game or Snapchat on their phone. And it takes time to cultivate and develop that, to get that back. If that connection has been missing, you need to make an effort to, play some games around the table, have some good discussions, whatever it takes to get that connection back is worth investing in. So, no devices during mealtime. All technology gets shut off by 9 p.m. Phones are plugged in on the counter overnight. They don't go in anyone's bedrooms. Those kinds of things. And before you know it, you wake up and you're feeling better. Your brain is alert and you're rested and you slept better. And then you have some energy work out. And then when you're exercising, that leads to so many positive things. And then you start making healthier eating choices. And it just snowballs. At any given moment, you can make really great choices or really poor ones that are less than ideal. So you'll notice that you start to feel better. I mean, if I'm on my phone or any technology all day, my eyes get strained and, you don't feel good. So we got along without these for a very long time before, and we can do it again. Don't miss out on connecting with people. I pick my teenagers up from school and every kid is staring down at their phone. My daughter's phone got wet. It's been 6 weeks. She has to come up with the $150 for the insurance replacement. So imagine a 14-year-old girl without a phone. But what I've noticed is we're talking in the car. We're singing in the car. She'll say, Mom, let's paint our nails. She'll come and just, sit down next to me. And, that wasn't happening before because she was on her phone all of the time. So now she's realized that when she gets her phone back, hopefully she won't go back to that. She'll realize she can survive without it.
And the thing is that cell phones have been around for 20 years. I mean, I got my first cell phone, I think, in 1995. And the trend was we would take phone calls. And it wasn't up until probably 10 years ago that texting became really big. And then everybody started texting and people weren't taking as many phone calls. But you know what? I prefer a human voice. I'm getting to the point now where if someone texts me, if someone sends me a chat, I tell them, pick up the phone and call me, because I have a better connection with them and I have a better ability to talk to them, to maybe convince them than I do trying to text or email. And I think somewhere along the line, we lose that ability to communicate just by using email or just by using Facebook, or we need that human voice, that connection. We're missing it.
I agree 100%. A lot of times someone will send me a text and I'll just dial them right back and they'll go, oh, yeah, let's just talk about this right now. Yeah, let's just talk. So yeah, people can hide behind messages. Things can get misinterpreted. You might not feel the emotion or the intensity of something on a text message. So yes, we are designed to be connected to humans, not to technology. I mean, they're convenient for sure. They, a quick text here and there makes things simple. but we do need to put those down and connect with people. And I've gone on retreats 5-6 days without it, and you survive, and it feels great to turn that phone in. You know, when you get on the plane or the bus or wherever you're going, you turn that phone in, and for 5 days you survive. You know, you reconnect, you feel good, you feel refreshed, and it's worth it.
You know, every year we go up to the mountains in Pennsylvania, and there's no cell signal, there's nothing. And my kids are going, what do we do? What do we do? I'm like, let's do what we used to do when I was a kid, you know, shoot the guns and do this and go hiking. And they're like, what? Boring. What? No. You know, and I, you know, and now with Snapchat, I like it as a marketing tool. But what I've been finding is it's forcing me to check my phone even more frequently than I was. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're losing the ability to effectively not only communicate, but take action. And we don't know when to turn it off because we're always turned on to this thing. You know, so, you know, structuring your day to be in tune with yourself and not in with your phone. Mm-hmm. I think that's genius.
We need to. We can't let it rule us. We are the ones in control of our schedule. We're the ones in control of our outcomes. And we can't, I mean, there's nothing at the end of your day that you're going to wish you had returned more text messages. There's nothing that urgent important. Most of it is the lowest level of tasks and importance in your day. And then you finish and go, oh, I didn't get that contract in. Oh, I never got that, you know, blog written. Oh, you know, whatever it is, you didn't get the urgent, important things done that really would have made a difference. They could have made an impact. But instead, you returned a couple of dozen text messages that were just silly or kind of nice to know, nice to do, but not changing the world. You know, let's do some world-changing things. And it's up to you to say, I'm not going to let this steal my time. You need to stay laser beam focused because we've never lived in a time more distracting to this one, and it's our enemy, because the day will go by and you will have not accomplished anything because you got so distracted by the bright shiny things that are flashing all around you, and then you wonder why you can't get anything done.
You know, I was just having this discussion with my wife 3 days ago. You know, I had 4 blogs I had to get done for lawyers and doctors, and I had to write another chapter for a book that I'm ghostwriting for somebody. And everybody kept posting stuff on Facebook or Twitter, and they're, Rob, hey, do this. Hey, Rob, this. And I'm like, 4 o'clock comes around. I didn't get anything done. You know, and it's like, no, I got to just turn it off. I got to set a timer and say, look, this is all I'm going to spend on social media. And then I got to do this. Yeah, I wrote books on social media and I help clients with their social media, but that doesn't mean I have to be a prisoner to social media. I have a life. I have to focus on it. I have to make money. And that's the problem with people. You know, they go into their jobs and they're still tied to social media for their phones, you know, and, you know, my daughter works at a daycare and they're not allowed to even use these while they're there.
That's a good rule. That's a really good rule. I mean, they should be pouring into those children in some of the most critical times of their lives and learning, because again, they're doing what they see others do. And, you know, even you've been out at restaurants and you've seen these little 2-year-olds and they're on their tablets throughout the meal, and the parents are just happy to pass it over to keep the kid quiet so they can get through a meal. But in the long run, you're really doing them and you a disservice, because they're not learning to communicate and talk to people and look people in the eye and think and engage and be connected. They're just sucked into that vortex of whatever game or pictures or whatever it is that they're looking at. And people's lives are going to pass by and they're going to wonder where it went. I mean, that happens with, you know, Facebook. You go to check in, the next thing you know, 45 minutes went by and you're looking at cat videos and you're like, what just happened? Wait a minute. What do you mean it's 3 o'clock and I got to go get the kids from school? I haven't done anything yet.
You know, my 2-year-old grandson, he's mastered this thing. I mean, he knows where all the apps are. He knows what does what. And it's like, I'm watching him going, holy cow, kid's going to be a genius. But the problem is every other kid out there knows how to use them now. So, you know, let's go back to you and your team. how do you help people with their physical and their financial pain? How do you make them better?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things I like to do right away is sort of identify their commitment level. So some people say they want to, but they're really not willing to do what it takes to make it happen. And I'll never give up on those people. I won't lose hope with them, but they're probably not the ones I'm going to, invest a lot in, because I want to challenge people on their commitment. If you tell me, yes, I am ready, the time is here, I want to make a difference in my physical health, my financial health, and then those people I want to work with. Some people want to dabble, and then some people are like, the time is now. I have created so much pain in my life in the area of physical and financial health that, yes, I will do whatever it takes. And so I offer them a couple things. I mean, I've been in fitness, nutrition, and wellness for 30 years. My master's degree is in clinical exercise physiology and done a lot in that arena. I've mostly been helping people with nutrition, because that is such a big part of everything. If you can get their nutrition correct, the body will start to right itself. That means all of a sudden the energy gets better, the sleep gets better, the hormones get back on track and start doing what they're supposed to do the right way, digestion gets better, even issues just start to go. Let's face it, Rob, we're all getting older every day, every one of us, and there's kind of a slow fade that happens where we're like, well, need a little nap in the middle of the day, and well, it doesn't have to be that way. So I teach them all the things that they probably learned in kindergarten, but we get them to actually do those things, like eating your 3 meals a day, getting in your vegetables, drinking your water. I mean, all the kindergarten things that everyone knows, but they're not necessarily doing. And then, of course, we dig deeper into, what's really the resistors that are keeping you from achieving the goals that you want. But I do work with a nutrition company that is the world leader in nutritional cleansing. So I offer nutrition superfoods to supplement what they're already doing or making attempts to do, working towards, and it just enhances the process. The products are absolutely amazing. I have over 8,500 people that my team and I are working with, and there's over 550,000 people worldwide who are using these products. And the solutions are for weight loss and cleansing. People who use our products release 44% more toxins, which is huge. I had 7 new friends last week diagnosed with cancer. I mean, just crazy. I want to do anything I can to release toxins from my body. We also have solutions for energy, for performance, for youthful aging. Who doesn't want that? Anyone over 35. And there's a wealth creation solution as well. So I use that as one of the vehicles to help people, because it's the easiest, fastest, most guaranteed way that I know to help people to make small or absolutely dramatic changes to their health and their wealth.
But it takes effort.
That's absolutely true. Yes, there is work involved. It does take effort, but the minutes and the days and the hours are going to pass anyway. So if what you're doing is not working, why not consider something that does work? And yes, you're going to have to do your part. You do your part, and for example, the nutrition products will do their part. But unless you consume them, unless you make the decision to consume them, unless you believe in them, then things are not going to change. They're just going to continue to decline. So yes, it works every time. In fact, we have 100% money back guarantee with all of our products. So
Wow.
you use them for 30 days. And if in 30 days your waist isn't smaller, your energy is not better, your sleep, whatever effect that you're looking for, better digestion, we will cheerfully refund 100% of your money. That's how much we believe in our products. So they work, but you need to put them to work. You need to get them in your body.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Everybody is so used to this instant gratification world that they don't want to put in any effort.
Well, that's correct.
And it's sad, but, it makes the difference between being a leader and being a follower. The leaders put in the effort. You put in the effort. I see it, in the way you talk and the way you're very uplifting and you're very motivational, I think. But then you get these other people who are like, yeah, well, I'll try it. Don't try it. Just do it.
Yeah, there's a big difference between someone who says, I'll try and I'll do it. There's a big difference between those two. I'll try and do a PowerPoint presentation. I'll try and go for a walk. I'll try. No, that's not going to work. You need to say, I will. There's a big difference. There's a connection between your brain and your body and your soul that you can't separate those three. So saying I'll try, that's not going to cut it. Take that out of your vocabulary and say I will, and just notice the difference in what happens with that small shift. And that's what it is. It's small shifts. You don't have to take this giant leap of faith and in a day quit smoking and stop drinking. Some people do, and that's okay. But most people, it's going to be one step, one less cigarette, one less glass of wine, one walk around the block. Start somewhere and watch how it builds, because your body and your mind and your soul are so amazing that when you start to feed it good things, momentum starts to build, and all of a sudden you don't want to go back to drinking soda, and you don't want to go back to donuts for breakfast, and you don't want to go back to being drunk every night. You want to make better choices, and then breakthrough starts to happen. And then all of a sudden, some people don't even remember the old them. Like they see a picture of themselves, and some people are like, oh, I didn't even remember that guy. Because every single day you can wake up and you have a new chance. You have a choice which way that you go, and I want everyone to go for the most excellent outcome. So be content with where you are. Don't start, defeated and it's too late for me. And no, that's not true. It's not too late for anyone. So go, okay, I'm going to at least be thankful for, come up with something. I've got a family who loves me. I've got jeans that fit. I've got, somewhere. I've got a closet full of clothes. But then contend for something so much better. Contend for the highest possible good that you can even think of right now. And then write it down, because there's so much power to journaling, to putting things out there visually, creating vision boards, and then tell someone who's significant to you, who will help to keep you accountable. If you can't afford to hire a coach right away, there's things you can do online, or there's even a buddy system helps with accountability. And then once you do that, you'll see that you can put one foot in front of the other and start to have breakthrough. When you see these pictures of testimonials of, for example, we're talking about nutrition, those before and after pictures, those people are real. They really did that. And if you look at that before and go, wow, that kind of looks like me, well, the after can look like that, like you too. Just show me one. Show me one 20-year-old who can earn $1 million. Show me one mom who's had 8 kids who can get a flat belly. Show me what. Then it's possible. But they went out and they worked for it and they made it happen. They didn't sit back and say, well, that could work for them because, they don't live in Pennsylvania in the winter. And, we can't do that. We can't. You can fill your day with excuses, but you're not going to get anywhere that way. It doesn't just cut out all the excuses. They're not acceptable.
What's on your vision board?
I have mine right here. So one of the things that's on my vision board is actually Dallas, which is where I am. Last year, I traveled so much, and I really feel like I'm supposed to be in Dallas this year. I've lived here, it'll be 10 years this month, and I feel like I haven't really connected as much as I would like to here. It's a great place, and I want to not only be a tourist here and get to know this place, but I want to connect with people. I want to speak at women's conferences here. I want to attend more events. So I've joined a few masterminds and, just getting out more, saying yes to more invitations and meeting more people in Dallas. So that's one of the things on my vision board. Let's see, what else is on my vision board? Outdoor living. We've been here for 10 years. We've got some outdoor living, but we've had this dream of building this. So yesterday I was out actually looking at new patio furniture and outdoor kitchens, and that's one of the things on there. I want to double my income this year. That's on my vision board. It is absolutely possible. And now most people might say, Kelly, that's crazy. Most people get 2%, maybe on a good year, 7%. Something great happens, 10%. No, double. I will double my income this year. And I'm on track to do that. I'm going to make it happen. Last year, we gave away 2 cars. I didn't start the year planning to give away 2 cars, but that's just the way it happened. And it felt so good to do that we want to give 2 cars away again this year. Let's see what else is on my board. I'm working on a book. I'm going to get the book done. I'd like to have it done before the summer. And the book is about mom and dadpreneurs. And it's about moms and dads who realize that they don't need to get up and go to, that cubicle we talked about, that they can be home tending to their family full time. And as a natural extension of that, they can find ways to have complete and total and growing and abundant provision from home. And that doesn't mean you never leave your house. I mean, you travel and you take your kids with you. There's so many benefits to that. So I'm actually looking for authors to co-author this book and contribute a chapter, because if you've done this, you have a story to tell. I want to hear your story so that you can be hope for that mom and dad who doesn't see a better way. They're a manager at a department store. They've been there for 12 years and, they're just above minimum wage. We want to show them that there's another way, that they can be home raising their kids. So, really excited about that book. And it's going to be a movement. It's going to be more than a book, but it's going to start with the book. So those are a few things on my vision board this year.
I like how you touched on the double your income, because, I've written 4 books. I'm in the process of writing 3 more. And I doubled my income last year. I'm going to do it again this year. I'll do it again next year. The connections that I've made being an author, being a speaker, traveling around are just phenomenal. And I think one of the things that impresses me about what I've done, and this is not bragging, it's just the fact that I took a business, I got out of a business that I thought was going to, be substantial to me and my family for many generations. And I became something totally opposite. And everybody has that ability to be more than what they are. So whether you're working McDonald's, whether you're, a dead-end job, there is still hope. There is still more that you can accomplish if you put some effort, some action, and some purpose behind what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm right there in alignment with you.
So where do you see things going? I know that you want to double your income and you want to stay more focused on Dallas, but where do you see your business, your team, what's your hope for them in the future?
Well, what excites me about my team is really raising up leaders so other people can get to the next level and rise up in their own personal development. So, when people meet me, they say, wow, I never really got this from you, but in person, you're really shy. I've seen you on stage and I've seen you, I had no idea, at home, you're so shy. And anyone can do this is the point. You don't need a special education. You don't need to have a degree, a certain amount of experience or background, or a hairdresser or a mechanic. Anyone can do this. There are those stories out there. I know incredible stories of people who could have had a very different life, but they chose to make a difference. And they put the effort in. They developed personally. They took a risk. They got behind it. So for me, is helping people believe in themselves, helping people see that there is another way, a better way, helping them push past those limits. We just see so much that happens generationally. We know that we're pretty much the product of what we came out of generationally and the 5 to 11 people that we hang out with. So if you look at your friends and they're complaining and negative and broke, and you need to upgrade your friends. You need to start immediately. Start reading some books. Start getting out into different circles and meeting new people. And you'll be surprised how when you start to upgrade your circle, upgrade the people you hang out with, that all of a sudden opportunity presents itself. You're just surrounded by positive people. No one is gossiping. In fact, I just heard a statistic from one of my neighbors the other day. He was interviewed on one of the local DFW channels here. They were asking him about habits of successful people. And he said that 40% of what they're categorizing as poor people gossip, but only 4% of wealthy people gossip. And, there's probably a lot of reasons for that. Number one, we don't have time. We're not interested. We don't care. We don't even know if other stuff is true, but we value relationships. So why would I talk about my neighbor, I value that relationship. And when you get to that level, again, you're not wasting time with all the back and forth nonsense of gossiping. So look at the habits of what successful people are doing, the people who are where you want to eventually be, and model those. So, that's what excites me, is just believing in people, pouring into people, helping people, and showing them that they can be and have and do so much more than where they currently are. And even if they're at a high level, there's always another level. I wake up every day, feel like I'm only just beginning, like I'm just getting started. And, there's so much more that I want to do.
I always tell people, share your story, not your drama.
Mm-hmm.
They're more inclined to want to follow you if you have a great story to share. And most people do, and they don't know it. Every person is unique and every person has a story that they can share, but when they start coming at you with their drama, no one wants to hear that. And I find that social media just kind of exasperates that drama and makes it even worse.
And it depends who your friends are. Like when I get on social media, it's nothing but positive things. It's, inspirational quotes and happy pictures and recognition. And so it feeds me good stuff. I mean, if there was drama, instant deletion. I mean, anything negative, anything dark, it just gets instantly deleted, and that's it. Unfriend, gone. And what you find is when you don't gossip, people don't bring gossip to you. Like no one would even consider bringing something negative or gossiping, because I will find a solution. I will find an answer. I will challenge them. So they just stop bringing that to you, and they're just going to talk about positive things, or they're going to fall away, which makes room for someone else who's, at a higher level, even more amazing. Doesn't mean we don't, have hope in people, but upgrade the circle of people that you hang out with. It will make a big, big difference. And you're worthy too. I mean, people think that they're not worthy of that. And I hate that. That's not true, because everyone is worthy.
Right. Now you touched on traveling. Where's your favorite place to travel?
I love tropical places. My husband and I are going to Maui in June. That was a trip that I just earned. We love Turks and Caicos. We love some places in Mexico. We had a place in Marco Island for a long time that we used to enjoy going there. So really anywhere beautiful and tropical. We eventually will, get there once the kids figure out where they're going to college, and we're going to head somewhere tropical.
Yeah, we just, in October, we were in Italy and Rome.
Love it.
And it was wonderful. We were just in San Diego,
Love it.
LA, and we met some clients there, but it was mostly supposed to be a business trip. But we had one day, which was our anniversary, and we got to go to Disneyland. And people are like, "You spent the anniversary in Disneyland?" And I was like, "Hey, it was on our bucket list. We wanted to go to an amusement park without the kids and just have fun." And that's what we got to do. Yeah. And people were like, our relatives were like, "What? That's the stupidest thing." And here I look at them going, they're not successful. They don't care. It's always a Debbie Downer to them. And it's like, I don't want to stay around people that are that negative.
Absolutely. Yep. Wait, you're at the happiest place on earth, right?
But it was, although both of us weren't feeling our best, it was, I think it was fun for us. And we got to accomplish something that was on our vision board, was part of our bucket list, our goals. And I think that for some people, they write down all these goals and they have all these visions, but they don't know how to get to that next level to accomplish them. So they need motivation. They need somebody that's kind of giving them accountability,
right?
Showing them how to have accountability.
And a lot of times it's simple math. It's working backwards from where you want to be to where you are now. So for example, if it's a sales goal, an income goal, you can break that down and start working backwards to what do I need to do today to hit that first goal, and then what about tomorrow? Or if it's a weight loss goal and 3 months from now you want to weigh a certain amount or lose a certain amount, start working backwards. Well, how many less calories are you going to need to eat? How much more exercise will you need to do? And then you have to wake up that day and do it if you're real about your goals, and set up rewards for your success. When you reach those goals, then have whatever it is for you. If it's a spa day, if it's, a ride on a Harley, whatever it is, make it happen and celebrate. Life doesn't have to be so cruel and dark and hard all the time. It's hard enough. We're going to get bad news. Unfortunately, it's going to come sometime. That phone call happens, car accident, cancer, unemployment. That's just part of life. But if those things are going to happen, doesn't it make the most sense that physically you're as well as you can be? Financially, you are totally set. You have relationships. You have a strong marriage. You have kids who love you and are trained well, that aren't relying on you to support them financially as adults. And just all those things are in place, so that if there's one bad phone call, that doesn't now mean it's a health issue, it's a financial issue, it's a relationship issue. Because when everything blows up, then it's a mess. But if you get that one phone call, a parent is sick, whatever, at least you're well and you have the time freedom and you have the financial freedom to go and help. So, for example, last year, my dad was sick, end-stage heart disease, lung disease, kidney disease, and in August, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I made 14 trips from Dallas to New Jersey last year because I call my mom every morning. And if I can hear in her voice that she sounds anything but filled with peace, if she sounded at all stressed, or my dad was going to the hospital that day or had a procedure, I could say to my husband, I'm going to Jersey. And I head straight to the airport and I fly to Jersey. And I have the freedom of time and finances and support from my husband that I can leave the house and the kids to go and do that. So I did that 14 times last year. And unfortunately, my dad did pass in November, but we were able to be there on his 70th birthday. Then we went back for the funeral. Then we went back for Thanksgiving because we didn't want my mom to be alone. And then we took her for Christmas to Florida. And, just being able to be there for my mom. She's coming here for Easter. We can help her with all those things. And that's priceless. If I had a job, I couldn't do any of that. Yeah. And then imagine the emotional stress and the guilt and all that. Doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, my one son's working at a restaurant. He's a waiter, and he loves the job. And it was a client of mine that I was able to get him this job. And he says, Dad, there's only so much I can do in this job. He says, I can only make so much money. I want to learn what you're doing. He says, I have all these goals and these aspirations I want to achieve. And so we're putting him on kind of we're getting his goals together. We're getting his vision board together because I want to know how I can help him better. Now I'm a big believer in writing down as many goals as you can, because as soon as you achieve one, you got to have something to achieve or go to the next one. Some people are different. They might have a short amount of goals. If you look at my goal sheet, I have over 200 and some goals that I still want to achieve. When I wrote my goals back 15 years ago, I wrote 101 goals and I achieved almost 80% of those goals within the first couple of years. So now I just continue to write more stuff down. But most people cannot see the advantage. So a vision board like you have is a little different. So how do you describe your vision board to somebody? How do they get started with theirs?
Yeah, I've got them kind of all over my office. This is my latest one over here. But with the vision board, you start out, and it could be different for anyone. Some people are more digital. They want to do it electronically. That's fine. I like to see, feel, touch, move it around, put it in places where I'm going to see it. Sometimes I put it on my bathroom mirror. I want to constantly be reminded about this. So for me, it starts off with a blank, cardstock, cardboard paper, and quiet time. So I will go somewhere and just kind of lay down and just start to visualize and empty my mind a little bit and see what impressions come in, because I don't want it just to be me striving. I also want to be led, so that I make sure that I'm in my plan and in my purpose. I don't want it to all be just my ideas, but I want to make sure that they're the best ideas. So I start with a blank sheet, and then I'll get impressions, and I'll start to, consider those impressions, and then I'll look for an image that represents that. So because of my background in wellness and fitness, I've had vision boards that look like a wellness wheel. So they'll have, family, marriage, career, physical, all these different social, financial, all these different goals, and then pictures that will represent each of those areas. And then in the middle for me is God. I always want God to be in the middle. Maybe different for some other people. But I've had ones that look like that. I have ones that are, sometimes I'll do just one that's professional, where I have very specific professional goals, and the whole thing is professional. And I do them with my kids too. So you can Google images and look, or if you want to go to, San Diego or Rome or wherever, find those images, put them on your vision board and make that happen. I've always done this. I love it, and it works. Like you said, when I was 13, I kept a journal, really since I'm 8. But in the one when I was 13, I wrote, I will marry a man 10 years older than me. I will speak in Italy. I will build my own house. I will own a health club. I will drive a Mercedes. I wrote all these things down. I will have 2 children. Every one of the things that I wrote down happens when I was 13. I've had multiple Mercedes. I've spoken in Italy many times. But those were things that I wrote down, and they happen. So there's a power to thinking it, writing it, speaking it, sharing it, manifesting it. It really can happen that way. And of course, we have our part to do. Again, it's not magical, but things start to happen. A friend called and said, hey, I can't go speak in Italy. Can you go? That stuff happens. So as long as you're doing your part and you're whatever your brand is, that you're representing it well, it doesn't have to be my brand, Rob's brand, it's whatever your brand is, you're representing it well, doors will start to open. You just keep knocking and knocking and knocking until they do.
I was reading a guy's post yesterday, and he had this tremendous opportunity that came by, and he turned it down. And then about 3 hours later, he regretted it, and he posted his regrets on Facebook. And everybody is trying to pat him on the back and say how sorry they are for him. And I said, go get it. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Go back and see if you can resurrect that opportunity. And he's like, no, it's too late, blah, blah, blah. And I said, give me the person's number. I'll call. And I called. And I got him that opportunity back again. And, he said he's not ready. And I'm like, when will you be ready? And I think that's the problem, is people self-sabotage themselves because they don't want success, or they don't want money, or they can't see themselves having all of this. They have a poor mentality. And, if you want to be poor, that's great. But I see so many people that are so unhappy, not having enough money, not having the things of their dreams. I don't know.
It's true. The poor will be among us. That's for sure. There are going to be those people who just don't get it, who just want to work the system, and they are always going to be among us. And, they can eat the scraps that are left over from those of us who are, just really in our plan and purpose. But some of the coaching questions that I'll ask people that I'm working with is, number one, what do you want? Can you even identify what that is? And then why? What is your why? If you can help someone to really dig down and have a deep why that they are so passionate about, and they keep that in the front of their mind and they can articulate that. And then I'll ask them, how long have you wanted this? Like, how long have you wanted to lose 20 pounds? How long have you wanted to hit 6 figures? How long have you wanted to take a vacation? How long have you wanted to have your own business? Why do you think you don't have that? These are just some questions that I ask some of my coaching clients. So, what do you want? How long have you wanted it? Why do you think you don't have it? And then, is it something that you're putting out there? Are you asking? Do people know? Are they aware? Because if someone has a resource, they're more than likely willing to share it. If they can help you get into a business, or, connect with someone who maybe gets you a step closer to your goal, you need to put it out there. You can't just keep it in your brain. Whether you write it, post it, vision board it, do something to get it out of you so that it starts to gain some momentum. Those are just, sort of some of the questions that I'll use with people when they get stuck. And I find the people with the big enough whys, when you really dig, like, I want to, earn 6 figures. Why? Because I want to put my kid through college. Why? And you keep going, you get to the point, and they're like, okay, well, no one in my family has ever gone to college. And, whatever it is. I want to be able to put kids in orphanages through college all over this country. And, it just keeps getting bigger before you know it. Now they've got something they're so fired up about that they're not going to take no for an answer. They're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
This hour went by so quickly. We could talk about this all day long. And for anybody who's watching, we only have a few minutes left. But Kelli, I want you to tell people how to get a hold of you, how they can get a hold of your products. If they need to go to a special website, or they can go to Facebook for coaching, because you have so much tremendous value to give to people that I think that everybody watching should pick up the phone and call you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, real simple. The easiest place to go is my website, which is my name. It's Kelli Calabrese. So KelliCalabrese.com. So KelliCalabrese.com. Go there. You can fill in your information. You can let me know what it is that you would like a solution for. I will receive that. Or my assistant will contact you personally, and we'll make sure that we get connected. I would love to meet you. I want to get to know people and help them and serve you. I want everyone to wake up every day and be their absolute best, physically, financially, emotionally, relationally, in every single way. And, just let people know that they're worth it, and so much is possible.
And you have so much energy. It's just unbelievable.
Well, thank you. It's all that good nutrition.
I think it's more than that. I think it's a lot of years of helping so many people.
I'm only just beginning, but thank you. I received that.
So, we have a minute left. What's one thing you want to tell anybody, something about Kelli, something about them, just something that they should have, your last words?
I would say live today with tomorrow in mind, that, just be poised for the challenges and just to set your heart on making an impact. It is all just about loving people. Just go out, love yourself, love your spouse, love your kids, and just let it go from there, reaching as many people as you possibly can, knowing that every thought matters, every word you say matters, every action you take matters, and at any given time, you can turn around any situation and find the good in it. So just wake up every day, be your best, and look for the good.
Make an impact.
Yes.
This was awesome, and I appreciate the time. And to all the listeners, to everybody watching, I want to say goodbye, and we'll talk to you later.